Agent Power Huddle is a daily jumpstart, giving you all the tools you need to create an amazing real estate career. Led by top experts in the field, you'll learn how to sell more houses in less time while creating the life you want. Welcome to the Agent Power Huddle.
Yes. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for coming in today. We're going to be talking about holiday follow-up techniques and my specialty, which is more like the digital stuff, but we'll get into it. And I also have this a little bit shorter because I want to have it more interactive. So I want to hear other people's ideas. So feel free to jump in, put stuff in the chat, engage. Let's have some fun with this because I think that, during the holidays is the best time to follow up. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Okie dokie. Did I share the right screen? Yes, I did. Okay. All right. So holiday follow-up techniques. My name is Sara Delansig. That's how you spell it and that's how you pronounce it. And this is my background. So my name is Sara, and I'm the owner of the Inside Sales Agency, which is a boutique ISA company. We're really small, but we're located in Washington State, and we make phone calls for agents all across the country. Really love doing that. I also am a real estate agent with EXP. And I was a real estate assistant at one point, but I didn't really like selling real estate. It wasn't for me. I like my work-life balance of a Monday through Friday, like a 9 to 5 type thing, and not like going out every weekend. So, and showing homes, that wasn't for me. I was actually a speaker at the EXP Shareholders Summit as voted on by my peers. So thank you very much for that. Follow-up is my jam. And so that's what we're going to talk about as well. So let's just get into it, right? Okay. As I mentioned, the holiday season is actually the very best time to follow up. A lot of people think that a lot of agents check out during this time. As a matter of fact, I saw this happen last year. It hasn't happened as much this year, but I've already seen a little bit of it. And people, agents just start being like, okay, you know what? I'm done. I'm on vacation for 2 months. That's not the best way to handle this. That's not the best way to set yourself up for success at the beginning of the next year. It's actually a really good time to reach out to your entire database because they're not even going to bat an eye if you reach out and say happy holidays, right? We all have people in our database who are not local, but if we reach out to them and, have a conversation with them, hi, how's it going? How's the family? Where are you at? What's going on? Happy holidays. That's a totally great excuse to reach out to people. So I think the holidays are the best time because as soon as the holidays are over, people start thinking about buying and selling. And I was actually one of those people that was buying and selling a home during the holidays, started right after Thanksgiving and, transacted all through Christmas. So I was looking at houses while it was snowing outside. So I'm one of those people. People have to move at all times. I'm actually having a great week of setting appointments and things. So don't think that you can't still work during the holidays. It's a great time to follow up. In person, if you can, it's going to leave a really good lasting impression. But like I said, I'm going to try to focus on the digital and the virtual stuff because that's what I mostly do because I mostly call all over the nation. And so I will share my ideas and I hope you guys share yours too. Okay. So the first one, I actually am renewing my license. And one of the classes I had to take in Washington State is how to go digital or paperless. And so holiday e-cards was a whole chapter on this, but it was kind of interesting. So I think there's greetingcards.com. I know there's a lot of other things out there that you can use. There was something like red something. If you Google it, there's lots of greeting cards, holiday e-cards that you can find. Okay. And they're really effective. I mean, just make sure that you're sending it to an email that is working and things like that. Make sure. And that's another reason that you could reach out. Hey, you know what? I just want to send you something. I wanted to make sure I had the right email for you. Wanted to say happy holidays. You can reach out that way too. Something that you can send in a text message, in an email, anything like that, is a list of the local holiday events that are coming up for the month. I really like this one. You can do your own, which would be even cooler. So put your own on there and make it really bold and like make it stand out. If you want to, try to get people in person, like I said before. So these are things that I'll show you exactly how you can put them at the end of a text message. And then you guys, obviously everybody can figure out how to put it into an email. But, pictures with Santa is an option. Small business spotlight, local business spotlight, things like that. Recipe books. So recipes are the number one thing that people look up online and watch videos on. A lot of people don't know that. So if you were able to say, hey, I'm going to try this recipe today and see what it looks like or something like that, and make a short video about it and just edit the crap out of it and make it kind of short, like I said, and then send the recipe and let them try it if it's great, or let them have their opinion of it. That would be even better. But if you're not that, comfortable on camera or something like that, then you could always send a recipe book. You could come up with your own recipe book. You could ask people to contribute to a recipe book. I'm just throwing all ideas out here. Okay. Newsletter. Obviously we all get stuff like this in the mail from realtors. Still, the realtor that I used 5 years ago to buy my home still sends me one every month. I haven't talked to her in about that amount of time, but she still sends me one every month, but I would recommend it be digital. Digital newsletters are a really good way to connect with other agents, to connect with anyone. And so if it was going to a real estate agent, like you could give them value like I'm giving right now. Like I'm probably going to send this video out to my my database of realtors to help them figure out how they can connect with their agents in their system and their prospects. Home decor tips. So a lot of people, I'm not one of those people, but my best friend used to be, and she loved to make the house look all festive during the holidays and like wanted to know what's in season, what's not in season. There's like, what ornaments you should use. There's all kinds of stuff. Like it's a whole fashion thing, right? How to decorate your home for the holidays is a whole thing. Then we have the normal stuff. You can do market reports about the area, like buyer's guides, seller's guides, right? These are all pretty typical things, but you can have a holiday spin on it somehow. Year-end tax tips. This one's not very much fun, but it's very educational and actually very helpful. A lot of people need that advice. So that's also a cool one that you could do. So this one is the one I'm going to kind of focus on, updating automations to make them look a little bit more, holiday-esque. So I'm going to show you guys one that I changed. This is one that I use, except for the fact I don't actually have a turkey tips for your Thanksgiving feast video. That's not what this link is. This is a link to one of my other YouTube videos, but I thought it would be cool if I did. So if I made that video, which I could, then I would put it in there. So I thought that was a cool one though. This is more of a like November theme one. And then I have one for December. So I use the falling leaves because it's fall. Now, if you are in a different market, like let's just say that you're in Arizona, right? Leaves aren't falling in Arizona. So maybe don't use that in Arizona. Right. So that's different. So keep this with a grain of salt based on your market. Also, I would say that there's different markets that emojis work well in, and there's markets that emojis don't work so well in. So your market better than I do. So check those out. Like figure out what works and what doesn't, and you can go from there. So this, I just filled it in with my own information. Now, normally I'm calling for other people. Like I said, I don't really like to sell or buy, like work with buyers and sellers. I like to connect them with other agents. So I'm big on referrals. So, but if I was going to do it for myself, this is what it would look like. I'm actually in Auburn, Washington, but people only know Seattle. So since this is national, I just put Seattle. And I tell them that I'm on it. I put that you should see it in your email shortly. That's how a lot of people send the CMAs, but they also do drop off. So if it's being dropped off, I say, that should be dropped off shortly. So just change the wording. And this is meant for somebody that clicked one of those Facebook ads that says, click here, enter your address, get your home's value, right? Now you could use these for anything. You could just switch it and say, thanks for requesting the list of 1-level homes. You should have seen that in your email already. And then you can say, like, was there anything you'd like to go take a closer look at? So I would change the wording for that. But I say happy Thanksgiving. I think that's totally acceptable, neutral. And then you can have a video about it or any of the other ideas that I mentioned. So that's kind of that one. Okay. This one, now with the holidays, like, I never assume that people celebrate Christmas or anything like that. So I always say happy holidays, and I don't put Christmas trees or anything like that. I use like snowflakes. You could do snowman. Now, that being said, if you know your audience and you know what's, like, if you know, then it's okay. I'm just being as neutral as I can for all of you, but I also have ideas on, Christmas themed stuff later on. So this one is kind of the same thing. You could take a screenshot of this and fill it in if you are running those kinds of ads, or just kind of switch it up. Like I said, you can use like a little snowman here, anything like that. That would, make it kind of cute. Now, the other thing that I did with this is we had the ability to do a voicemail drop. And one of the people on my team, he's a musician, a really good singer. And so last year he did a quick blurb of the happy holidays. And so he sang about 15 seconds of the happy holidays. And we did it as a voicemail. We clicked the button and it recorded it, and it said happy holidays from the Sara Delansig home team or whatever, something like that, right? It was like pretty cool. And people, got back to us about it. So I like that. So the method of follow-up that I use is not like a one and done. A lot of agents will just, do this once or call once and then send a text and then let automations take over. That's not how you want to do it. Okay. Like, don't be that statistic that is like only going to call once and then doesn't do anything else. Right. So you want to provide value with every single contact attempt. Only about 10% of people pick up the phone, depending on what time you're calling and what day you're calling and things like that. It's better to make the calls than to not make the calls. So the text messages that I just showed you come after I leave a voicemail. So whether it be the voicemail that I just said, where it's like, somebody singing happy holidays really quick, from the Sara Delansig home team or whatever. Or if it's just me saying, hey, this is Sara, just wanted to check in with you, blah, 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 whatever. I leave a voicemail. That's the point. I don't not leave a voicemail. And then I send these text messages, and then I call them again in a couple days. And then I call them again in a week. And then I call them again in 2 weeks. And then I call them again in 3 weeks. And this is like for brand new people that just click this, right? And then I call them once a month until they pick up the phone or tell me to stop. And that's my follow-up technique. Okay, so as I was saying, you can do this by sending them things like the holiday event schedule. I thought this was kind of cool, a letters to Santa template. Maybe send in the email or something like that, or give options for it. And you could play around with it. There's a lot of cool ideas. Recipe ideas, we already talked about that. You can host your own events in the community. I've seen a lot of success with these small business spotlights. So finding other small businesses in the area, getting together, using their network to network with your network and connecting them all. That's a amazing way. Like I've seen this done with like hospitals, like nurses and things like that. There's actually a lot of content out there that can explain. I know that Linnea and Chris Peshik did an Agent Power Huddle last year about how to do holiday events and for small businesses, small business spotlight. So you might want to look those up too. Okay, so the 7 effective follow-up techniques. I give these to everyone. We kind of talked about it, but because of that statistic that people don't really, the agents don't really make the calls, you need to make the time. So something that I have a course that I teach a new way of follow-up. That's why I call it the future of follow-up, because for 20 something years, everybody's kind of been doing the same thing, which is incessantly call, aggressively try to get them on the phone, not leave voicemails, not try to trick them into getting on the phone or something like that. And I found that I split tested it, and that wasn't working. So I decided to create a course on what is working. And yesterday I set 4 appointments. The day before that, I think I set 5. And so it is working right now for the way that I do it. It does involve a lot of video content in certain, like evergreen video content about your market, about your area. And I'm not just talking about like walkthroughs. Walkthroughs are not very helpful, to be honest, that much. I might use them 1 out of like 50 times. Maybe if somebody has been like looking for a certain kind of home, I might use that. But otherwise, I don't really do walkthroughs. I do stuff like, what's it like to live in Lakeland Hills? Like what are the best parks in Lakeland Hills? Let's see. You could do like home buyer myths, how to get a mortgage, first time home buying tips, how to sell your home for top dollar fast, how to get your home ready to sell. There's all those things out there, which I have a list of videos like that too. So I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of other things that you can do. It doesn't just have to be aggressively call people, which didn't work. And it doesn't really work today. You have to add value. You have to make sure that you are consistent, make time for it, know your role. So I heard, or I thought of something last night. My husband asked me about a pyramid scheme. And then we were talking about it. I was like, and somehow it got to where I was like, the real estate agent actually is the commodity. You are the commodity. So I'm going to go down a little bit of a sidetrack here. I'm going to stop my share for a second. So knowing your role is knowing what you bring value, like how you bring value. Why would somebody use you over a different agent? There's a bunch of agents on here right now. I don't consider any of us competitors, even though I don't try to sell real estate, but that's a side note. So I don't consider any of us competitors because we're all different. So if you wanted to go buy a Red Bull, you could go to a 7-Eleven, you could go to a Target, you could go to a Safeway. It doesn't matter where you buy the Red Bull, right? Because it's a Red Bull. At the end of the day, it's Red Bull. But when you want to buy a home or you want to sell a home, the real estate agent that you work with is like the reason that you work with them. Now, not everybody, like we know the statistic that like usually they go with the first agent that they talk to, but are they happy with the first agent that they talk to? Are they going to send referrals to the first agent that they talk to? In my experience, that wasn't the case. So, I did use the first agent I talked to, and then I wasn't very happy with that. So moving forward, I think that people need to be educated about why you're the right choice. So that's what know your role means. So provide value. We already kind of went over that. Use video. I already explained that one too. Being a problem solver. Here, I'll show my screen again because I'm going to share a promo code as well. Be a problem solver, but don't bend over backwards. Like as agents, sometimes, especially newer agents, side note, make sure your time and your family are valuable, and don't let other people like impose on that and make you feel like you have to get back to them or anything like that. If any client is treating you poorly because you aren't getting back to them in a timely manner or something like that, or you haven't, make sure you set clear expectations, but then know that nobody should be walking all over you. You should not be available 24/7, regardless of what other people might do out there. Okay. Find ways to relate. So that's self-explanatory, but as a real estate agent, you want to make sure that you are able to relate to people and be relatable. You can't change who you are, right? So a lot of people are afraid of doing video. Are you going to show up and are you going to look the same on video? Hopefully, right? As long as you're not using a bunch of filters or something. Show up in person, be the same person. So like if you're using a bunch of filters, if you're using a bunch of stuff like that, it's not really changing who you are. So just be yourself on the camera because that's what people need to be attracted to and get to know, like, and trust you. Follow through is probably the most important one on all of these. I know I blasted through this. I'm sorry. Normally I go over, so I was trying to leave some room. Now we'll talk about questions. And that is, if you want to, you can scan it and use this promo code EXP25 to get a 25% discount. In this course, I go over like how to get your mind right for follow-up, how to overcome fears of follow-up. I share all of my thought process behind how I do what I do. Yesterday, I think I made 157 calls. The day before that, it was like 130 something. I know, don't be overwhelmed. This is all I do all day. So I saw your face. No, it's not like, I mean, this is what I get paid to do. Okay. I have my clients and I do that, but I'm also systematic about it. And I've been doing it for years and years and years. So I do it a very systematic way. So hopefully that was helpful. And then we have some time. I want to hear other people's ideas for what they're doing, or if you have questions. There's a lot of you on here on camera. Thank you so much for doing that. And yeah, anyone have questions, thoughts, concerns, comments?
I think my biggest thing that keeps me from making the phone calls is there's so much out there right now about not sounding salesy and what to say that is the neuro-linguistic whatever that people like, instead of saying this, say that, because it's not as aggressive, it's not as pushy, it's not as cringy.
Okay.
That's my hang up.
Okay. So that's exactly why I made this course, because of that, because I think it scares people, because the people who are really good at follow-up do it at a really high level, and then they teach everybody else, but everybody else is like not there. You know what I mean? Like we're not, when they say this, you say this. When you have to build up after years and years and years and years of knowing how to respond to that. So I say, be yourself. The way that I found what I do is I was literally myself. And people were like, oh, they feel sorry for you, Sara. That's why you set so many appointments, because they feel sorry for you. Well, after doing it for 5 years, being their team leader, and then having them learn from me because they were salesy and I was not, I don't think that the people felt sorry for me. I think that they connected with me because I was authentic. So Debbie, you are awesome. I actually know you. We know each other. And that's the thing. People are scared to make calls because they're like, I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to do this. But you're actually hindering yourself from having really good calls by not doing it, because you'll be surprised. Now, are you going to get people that are going to yell at you? I had somebody, all he answered was screaming at me yesterday. He was like, what the F do you want, mother F, like all, and I was like, ooh. And then I got the FU text. Now that doesn't normally happen. It does not normally happen. It was a strange day yesterday. I don't know what was in there, but
it happens.
But it happened, but it was, okay. So it was over text, and then the one was over text, and one was, I didn't even say anything, and he just answered the phone like that. So clearly he gets a lot of calls. Like, I don't know what's going on in his world, but I'm not the reason he's mad. And I know that for a fact. You know what I mean? Like, I know that I cannot possibly be the reason that this guy is so mad. He doesn't know me. I've never called him before. So if you have those, then that's okay. Because you know what else I got yesterday? I got actual people that were excited to sell their home, were excited to talk to a real estate agent, were ready. And the people that I connected them with, like, I could tell you exactly what happened. I'm going to look at it, at my numbers for the week. Okay.
It's the line that always comes to mind when you make the phone call, at least it does for me, is, hey, I'm just checking in. That's like, you hear it everywhere online right now. Don't ever say that. It's the first thing that comes to mind.
Because you see that everywhere. It's exactly what you're going to think of. So, I normally bypass my degree in psychology, but that is literally what is going on. If you were told not to do something, then it's in your head. Yeah. So I used to train, and I'd be like, don't ask them if they're interested in something whenever I would train. And every single time would you be interested in something and I'm like, okay, I got to stop telling them not to say that, because that's what and so instead you say, how about you try saying, would that benefit you? Okay. So my course though, and I didn't mean to make this about my course, but It is literally about first starting out. You have to get those things out of your mind. You have to have the right mindset. The other thing that I've had the most success with is affirmations. As silly as that sounds, I do these affirmations, and I actually took them out of this presentation because I have done them in another one. But I say, I am successful despite what's happening in the market. Every call is an attempt to make a connection. I know my market. I know that I provide value. I know that I have to be consistent to be successful. There's certain things that I say, and that's also in the course. But your mindset is almost 80% of what you see. So if you're like sitting there going, please don't answer the phone, please don't answer the phone, you're not going to get anybody to pick up the phone. Like most likely, or please don't yell at me. Please don't yell at me. You're going to get somebody to yell at you. Like things, whatever you focus on expands, right? So, so my advice to you, let's talk later because I might be able to, I'll help you out. But
I've been meaning to reach out to you personally, so I'll do that today.
Yeah, you totally should, because I think it would be really beneficial. I mean, it's mostly the mindset. And then if you do the affirmations, then it kind of puts you in the right space. And then if you are like, okay, you just have to get one win and then you'll start to feel that momentum and it'll go from there. So
thank you.
I like it. Yes. Sam S. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So this is all recorded and it's going to be on YouTube, which I love. And I also share this in the Future of Follow-Up for Real Estate Facebook group. And if you're EXP, I have a workplace group. It's called Inside Sales Agents General, but it's mostly just follow-up related. So it'll be in there too. So you can find it on YouTube at Agent Power Huddle, and you can find it there. Any other questions? Other ideas for follow-up? Anything I didn't touch on that somebody else is doing? Alex, you've always got good ideas. I'm going to call you out. If he's not frozen, now he looks frozen.
Is he play frozen or is he really frozen?
Oh, he took off. He's like, no. That's okay. All right. Well, I hope that this was helpful. I was going to go a different direction. And then I'm like, I don't know about like actually hosting events. And a lot of people talk about hosting events. So I'm going to talk about the things that I talked about. Oh, Evangelia. Is that how you say your name? Where'd she go? Oh, there you are. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Yes. Perfect. You pronounce it right, which it's fine. Or you can call me Eve. What was the Facebook group for EXP?
It's called Inside Sales Agents General. As a matter of fact, if you just type in ISA anywhere in workplace, my face will pop up everywhere.
Okay.
I'm like the only person.
Can you put that QR code again up?
Yes.
How can I use this code like next month to get the course, or does it expire after a certain amount of time?
It's not going to expire that I know of. So yeah, I update this course, so I put new stuff in there, like the ones I'm probably going to put them in there. The ones that I just put, if they're not already in there, they might already be in there. But yeah.
Okay. And so it constantly gets updated?
Yeah, I do, because I'm constantly making calls and then seeing other things that I should add to it or that are lacking. So I have some from last year. Last year, there was a huge snowstorm in Casper, Wyoming, in the middle of spring. And so I created texts about how crazy that was and things like that. So like I do it based on the area, what's happening in the area. So my advice to all of you is like, you know your area better than I do. So take what I'm giving you and then build it out into your own to make it into something that makes sense for you. You know what I mean?
And is this lifetime or is this an annual membership?
Oh, it's lifetime. It's yeah. It's a one-time, like I think the course is normally 300, but it's like a lifetime. Yeah. And so there's video, like, and I also have a 5-day challenge where you can literally like watch me make the calls and you make calls and I can give you advice. You can bring recordings. We just did that and it was really fun. So I'll do that every like quarter. I try to do it. So you get access to that too, if you want to.
All right, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you guys so much. This was a lot of fun. I hope it was helpful. Until next time, happy holidays.
As always, you're awesome.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.